Good evening, and we begin at 5 with rising RSV cases in Oregon. Governor Kate Brown has just issued an executive order to help hospitals deal with the influx of pediatric patients. The order will now allow hospitals to staff extra beds for kids and bring in volunteer nurses and doctors. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Laurel Porter. And it's not just RSV either. The flu and seasonal cold are causing problems too. And with Thanksgiving almost here, experts fear the situation will only get worse. Let's bring in Mike Benner. And Mike, these illnesses are taking a toll on parents.
Yeah, and I'm one of those parents, Laurel. One of my kiddos was homesick today. I had two others homesick last week, so I can empathize with these parents, including the woman you're about to meet. She is struggling with a sick child and feels that there is no end in sight.
This is 8.5-year-old Aubrey. Her mom will tell you she looks happier and healthier in this old photo than she does right now.
Very fatigued and tired, fever, congestion, a horrid cough. It's really deep in the lungs.
Gloria Saylor says the symptoms first appeared the week before last. Gloria says Aubrey's been in and out of doctor's offices, even the ER. And there's no clear-cut diagnosis. Maybe RSV, maybe the flu. What is clear is how many days of school Aubrey has missed. 5 days in the last 2.5 weeks.
All she wants is to be held, and she cries because she just wants to cuddle. She's up at all nights of the hours because of the cough.
While heartbreaking, none of this comes as a surprise to doctors, and that includes Dr. Tom Jean of the Oregon Health Authority.
Every respiratory season is a bad respiratory season.
Dr. Jean expects RSV and influenza to circulate this respiratory season at higher levels than the last 2 years.
We don't know yet if this RSV or influenza season will be more severe in Oregon than pre-pandemic seasons. But nationally, we are seeing some alarming trends of early and in some cases, very high circulation of both of those viruses.
Dr. Jean says in all likelihood, the viruses will strain a hospital system already strained by COVID-19. This makes it even more important to cover coughs and sneezes, wash hands, and mask indoors if you're sick. If you don't, you may just find yourself under the weather for days, just like little Aubrey.
I'm hoping she'll feel better so she can go back to school because she really wants to go back.
Yeah, we certainly hope Aubrey gets better soon. There is nothing fun about this. And making matters even worse, pharmacies across the country, including right here in our area, are dealing with a drug shortage. Amoxicillin, the most commonly used antibiotic, is in short supply. We're hearing from parents who are having to call pharmacy after pharmacy just to get their hands on some. So there is nothing fun about this. It is just a messy situation all around. And one more thing worth mentioning in regards to that executive order from the governor. The Oregon Nurses Association has released a statement, and in part, they're asking for elective surgeries to be delayed and for staff to be incentivized to come in and work these extra shifts that'll be necessary to handle RSV. Let's send it back to you.
That's a pretty drastic step there. Mike Benner reporting. Thank you, Mike. Developing tonight, the University of Idaho community is in mourning after 4 students were found dead. Moscow police say they found the bodies of the 20 and 21-year-olds in an off-campus house over the weekend after they'd received a call about an unconscious person. Police say they're investigating all 4 deaths as homicides. The victims have been identified. 2 are from Idaho, 1 from Washington, and 1 from Arizona. The university canceled classes today and has support available for students and staff.
The man accused of setting a car on fire before Portland police shot him has been released from the hospital. He's now in the Multnomah County Detention Center. Police say the suspect is 33-year-old Antoine Young. This all happened by Southeast 83rd and Harrison last Monday. Police say they got calls about Young setting a car on fire, and they say he was uncooperative and was armed when they showed up. Officers then shot him. He was taken into custody and then to the hospital.
Well, 6 days after an election where homelessness was arguably the #1 issue in our region, new data is out showing the number of people living on the streets. Blair Best is in the newsroom. Blair, this is the full version of the point-in-time count, which counted about 5,000 people experiencing homelessness, but that was back in January.
And David, and many of those people are chronically homeless. That's when someone has been homeless for more than a year and has a disabling condition. There are more than 3,000 chronically homeless people in Portland, and that number continues to grow, even though the county is pouring money into expanding and operating shelters. The Joint Office of Homeless Services is working to get people off the streets. Half its budget pays for shelters. Last year, it helped more than 4,000 people leave homelessness, yet the problem keeps getting worse. In 2015, 20% of people in shelter were chronically homeless. This year, that grew to 65%, and that's not including those living outside. We caught up with people experiencing chronic homelessness today on a section of Northeast 33rd Drive.
The people come down and they want to help you in different agencies and resources. And they really, really, really do it, and we thank them so much. But then when it comes down to it, they come by one time, talk to us, and never come back.
Some of the things are just really backwards. I just don't get it out here. I mean, sometimes I just want to just walk out the door and just walk away from it all and just let it all go, you know.
While the Joint Office has opened more shelters in villages, the homeless we talked with say they don't want to stay in those places because of their mental health issues. Now, the Point in Time report goes on to say that ending homelessness will come from focusing on the factors that push people on the streets in the first place. That's rising rents, racial injustice, and physical and behavioral health problems. David, Laurel.
It's going to take a lot of entities and a lot of people working together to make that happen. Thank you, Blair. Almost a week has passed now since Election Day, but we are still waiting on some results. One undecided House race is in Oregon's District 6, where Democrat Andrea Salinas leads by about 7,000 votes over Republican Mike Erickson. But it's still too close to call. And we just got new vote totals in the past half hour. Evan Watson joins us with where the race stands now. Evan?
Yeah, Laurel, even sooner than the last half hour. I just got this from the newsroom about 30 seconds ago. So we're getting updates every minute now. So this from Washington and Marion County. Washington County just added their totals. Salinas extended her lead over Mike Erickson by about 2,000 votes. But then Marion County's results just came in a few moments ago, where Erickson gained about 1,000. So let's take a closer look at Oregon's 6th district, the newly created district in the state. She's up about 6,000 and some change as of now. And net, she gained about 1,000 over these last two updates, which added about, quick math here, maybe about 17,000 votes in total to the Oregon 6th district, I should say. The remaining counties only have a few thousand votes to add later this week, so that means that we are going to get more information over the next couple of days. We have decisions in 2 other close congressional races in our area as well. Oregon's 5th district has flipped from blue to red. Republican Lori Chavez-DeRemer won this seat, and Democrat Jamie McLeod Skinner conceded over the weekend. Chavez-DeRemer says she promises to approach every issue through a nonpartisan lens. And in Washington, Democrat Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez has beaten Republican Joe Kent, according to the AP. Gluesenkamp-Perez won more than 55% of the votes in Clark County, the largest county in that district. That's 4 points better than the results for Democratic Senator Patty Murray in this election, suggesting that Gluesenkamp-Perez earned the votes of some moderate and Republican voters. But the 6th district is the focus of the night. We saw the Marion County update, the Washington County update. Those are the 2 biggest updates we're waiting on. There's still about 30,000 votes outstanding in Washington County, so we'll see when those come in. Maybe tomorrow night, I would expect for that. David, Laurel?
And we'll be watching them. Evan Watson doing the math for nearly a week now. Thank you, Evan. Let's talk about a big groundbreaking in the Rose City, an attempt to begin to make right what has widely been seen as a painful part of Portland's history. Dozens of families in the majority black neighborhood of Albina pushed out in the name of gentrification to make room for the Memorial Coliseum and a hospital. Let's bring in Christelle Kumwe at North Interstate and Webster in the Overlook neighborhood. Christelle, we are talking about a new affordable housing project for the descendants of those who lost their homes.
Absolutely, and right here is where the 63-unit apartment community will open next year. Now, once again, this project is an attempt by the city, and it aligns with the project to right its wrongs because a few years ago, about 50 years ago, they pushed out a lot of people, many minorities in North and Northeast Portland, in favor of expensive development. Now, over 170 families in Albina neighborhood in Northeast Portland had their homes destroyed in the early 1970s to make way for Portland's Emmanuel Hospital expansion, now known as Legacy Emmanuel Medical Center. The majority of the families displaced were African American. And several years back, they were asked to submit paperwork to show they were descendants of the people forced out. Now, the new affordable housing community under construction here will have service instead tailored to Black families.
This is because we're Self-Enhancement Inc. and we've been doing services in this community for over 40 years. You know, in school, after school services for young people, rental assistance, domestic violence support, all kinds of social services that we provide directly to African American children and families. So to make that a part of a housing development is just the next step.
In 2016, the city started using $20 million earmarked for work like this. Now, this particular project, though, is funded by a $9 million housing bond that voters approved in 2018, as well as grant funds from Metro. Now, the new units will be for families earning 60% or less of the area's median income. Now, Community Development Partners and Self-Enhancement Inc. are co-owners and co-developers of this community. And this community, once again, is set to open late next year. David, Laurel.
Thank you, Christelle.